when a Black voice is literally telling you, like, hey, don't do this? Do we need to assault you in order to give us basic human respect?
Because more YT people will have to DIE in order for motherfuckers to what? CARE.
It's 4th of July weekend. There's so much to celebrate, right? No, back in 1776, Black folks were still enslaved. So that's not anything to celebrate.
But the idea of the gender man and woman was also a European ideology.
Really tragic. God, this podcast is such a downer this week. Epstein, this, like, it's just, oh my God, the world is in such an ugly place. The flood in Texas, so tragic. The little girls whose lives were lost, oh my God. I can barely even think about it. But of course, you know, you would think that like dead children would be something that's beneath people to politicize or turn into some sort of form of hatred. You know, you would think that maybe we could all come together and be like, that's sad, that's tragic, but not to the anti-white TikTokers on that platform. Not to them. Nothing is beneath them, and they are disgusting people. Watch.
I'm going to say it because y'all scary as fuck, and I don't give a damn. Them little girls, them people died because of racism, not politics. Boom, I said it. I don't give a fuck. And am I sad? No. Nope.
So I just found out something super wild about stem cells. If you don't know, stem cells are like tiny little repair crews in your body. And basically they go and fix things that need to be fixed. So I'm going to show you a video where Dr. Eric Berg, one of the most watched health educators on YouTube, has been talking about this for years.
Stem cells kind of like this reserve cell that can pretty much change into anything that you need. They're using it now to regenerate fibrosis, which then allows the heart muscle function to improve by 30%. They can do the same thing with liver fibrosis and damaged brain cells. They're getting great results stimulating new cartilage in your joint. Some people are using it for autoimmune diseases like MS, and also to help rejuvenate skin cells to actually make the skin young again. There's also stem cells for cancer. It's very important to understand how to keep that stem cell population at the highest level.
And the thing about stem cells is they are crazy expensive. Celebrities in Hollywood will spend up to $50K on stem cell injections. And I'm sure you don't have that kind of cash just lying around. So luckily, I have the hookup with my guy at Black Forest Supplements. They developed cocoa flavanols. Studies have shown that flavanols actually stimulate stem cells to come out of your bone marrow, kind of like bees out of a hive, but in your bloodstream. Harvard scientist Dr. William Lee actually backs this up. Check it out.
And they go out and they find wherever it needs to be repaired. If it's your heart, they'll fix it. If it's in your liver, they'll fix it. If it's your skin, they'll fix it. And so we can eat foods like high flavanol cocoa in order to be able to actually get the stem cells to work a little bit better. Now, how do we know this actually functions, works in people? Well, clinical studies have been done with high flavanol cocoa.
This is not your average cocoa. It's a stem cell power up. I've been actually mixing it in my coffee and I'm literally obsessed with it. It tastes amazing. The benefits are real. It's only 20 calories and it has no sugar in it, which is super important to me. So if you're someone who's experiencing significant aging, slow recovery for things, brain fog, just general unwellness, this is for you, because cocoa flavanols are going to activate those lazy cells that are the problem here. Go to the link in my description or the pinned comment right now, because for the next 48 hours, you can get a whopping 45% off. Thank you so much to Black Forest Supplements for sponsoring this video, and on to the rest of the video now.
Because more YT people will have to DIE in order for motherfuckers to what? CARE. I said what the fuck I said. I don't give a fuck, and minds are here with me. We voted the correct way. You reap what the fuck you sow. Just the night before the flash flood happened, y'all were okay with motherfuckers being stripped away from their motherfucking families and never seeing them again. People being deported. Y'all were okay with that. Be okay with not finding Sarah Lou. Be okay with not finding Billy. Be okay with never seeing them again.
She has so much hate in her heart, I can't even watch this. I've actually never seen a more hateful person. In her words, do I care they died? Nope. See, something evil has made a home in you, and it's jumping out. Voted the correct way. So did people in California not vote the correct way also when there was fires in California they couldn't stop? And there's no water in the fire hydrants? Because I remember you couldn't say a word about them, which I never would, mock victims of anything, but it is very taboo to, you know, say anything negative about people in California who maybe voted a certain way that should have told them they wouldn't have water in the fire hydrants to fight wildfires, right? But that was bad, but this is okay when it comes to little girls. You're a disgusting creature of the deep. Go back. The race problems in this country are never going to be fixed so long as it's presented falsely as a one-way street. That Black equals victim, white equals racist. So long as that fake ass paradigm exists, we're never solving these issues, which is part of the plan, by the way. It's how they keep us fighting with each other, and everyone falls for it, right? Everyone falls for it. But if you've ever left your house, like ever, and interacted with people of any other race than just white or black, you would know that racial tensions, hatred, prejudice go in every direction like a Venn diagram, bitch. If you've ever met Mexicans, you've heard them talk badly about black people. If you've ever met black people, you've heard them talk badly about white people. If you've ever heard Asian people, you've heard them talk badly about black people. Honestly, the only group I never really hear saying anything negative about other races is white people. And that's just going to blow the mind of all the race activists, because they think that white people just get in a corner and they're like, ooh, let's talk badly about black people. Let's say the N-word. Not really. Not really. Most white people are so scared of other white people thinking they're racist that they would never, even if they felt that way. And that's the inversion, that the group that's supposedly the most racist is actually the least. And you would actually never catch a white person on TikTok saying, little black children, am I mad they died? No. No one would ever say that from the white community. I don't care. And if they did, they would instantly be cast out by everyone from every direction. But yet you can be up here saying that you don't give a fuck about little white girls that died because they're white. You're disgusting.
White people will just blatantly disrespect us when a black voice is literally telling you like, hey, don't do this. And then you're just like, why? I do it all the time and nothing happened. Like, what do you mean nothing happened? Like, do you mean nobody beat your fucking ass? Like, do we need to assault you in order to give us basic human respect? Do you mean nobody put their hands on you? Do you mean nobody felt comfortable enough to say something to you?
God forbid you give a white person an order and they don't do what you say. We're kind of past this like thing about like racial authority, like white people can tell black people what to do, or vice versa. No one has to follow orders from you. You're not some kind of leader, especially looking like that. What are your orders? Where are you leading people? Ain't nobody want to go off a cliff following this clown and her orders. If people are constantly disrespecting you, it might be because you're looking very disrespectable. Again, no one wants to accept the consequences of their actions. We react to the trans activists looking like Lily Tino and then want to shit a chicken that people don't call them male. No one wants to accept their freakdom. No one wants to own their own freakdom with heart. Just like we were talking about on the trans activist thing, where it was like how trans activists want to look however they want to look, but still freak out about people, you know, misgendering them. It's like you walk out the door looking like that and you want to complain about people not having respect for you. It's kind of like you don't really have respect for yourself, sis.
I hate to be the one who points it out, but it seems like it needs to get pointed out. So are we not paying attention to majority of the videos that's being shared about this flood and the certain that's on the videos? Like, hopefully this is opening up some eyes and showing people that he watches. I don't matter who's watching. They're watching. They see you as a person and what you're teaching your kids and how your children treat others and how you treat others.
It's crazy how everyone wants to get biblical when it comes to people they don't like dying. Suddenly it's like God's judgment, God's punishment. I feel like that's what she's implying here, but she's just so stupid that it's kind of like, maybe I'm misinterpreting what she's trying to say. It sounds like she's trying to say that these little white children, innocent, children, were wiped away in a flood because of the racism of their ancestors and how their parents or grandparents treated people. I mean, you're a pig. If those little girls deserve to die because of their parents or ancestors' racism, what do you deserve for being this hateful and disgusting and satanic right now? Like, what's your karma and your consequences for being this piece of shit right now? Is there a flood coming your way? Like, what is it?
It's 4th of July weekend. There's so much to celebrate, right? No, there really isn't, because the truth of the matter is the freedom and independence that the 4th of July holiday is supposed to represent never included all Americans or all people in America, right? So back in 1776, Black folks were still enslaved. So that's not anything to celebrate.
This is why I say never call a Democrat a progressive. There is nothing forward thinking or future thinking about constantly having to invoke centuries ago, constantly having to invoke years ago. I'm not saying you have to be some like hella patriotic person. I find it cringe when people try to force patriotism on people. It's like, I get it. But, you know, in other words, you should really just be saying thank you. I mean, since you're so into history, maybe look into when other places in the world compared to European countries actually ended slavery. Slavery became illegal in all African countries by 1981 compared to mid 1800s for European countries. So y'all took over 100 years later to actually ban it in your own countries. What about the Middle East? Slavery became illegal in all Middle Eastern countries by the 1970s. It took this till the 70s and the 80s for non-European, areas to just get it together and end slavery. So really what you should be saying is thank you. This is another example of that inversion. Treating white people like they're the most racist group when they were the first ones to say, hey, no human should own a human. And countries of your origin were doing it until the 80s.
White people ruined most of everything. Before Europeans colonized the globe, thousands of indigenous peoples acknowledged and celebrated multiple gender identities as part of their culture. But the idea of the gender man and woman was also a European ideology. That was one of the tools of the colonization process. And then man and woman became the standardized gender identity as what we now know today.
Considering y'all hate Europeans so much, you would think you wouldn't give them so much credit. I am not willing to give Europeans credit for creating the genders. You think white people are the reason why like half of people have a penis and half of people have a vagina? Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And for you to invoke like, past cultures, it was different and there was more genders, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they also rolled people's heads down the pyramids and like did child sacrifices, animal sacrifices, like did a lot of things you probably also wouldn't want to do yourself. So maybe find better examples, first of all. But, there is a lot of, hidden history when it comes to trans people, and whatever word was used for them in the past, people called them the eunuchs. And there have been iterations in certain cultures where very feminine males will become like the shamans and the leaders of tribes and of little communities because they see them as more spiritual. And so that's what's sad is like trans people have actually been more high vibrational in past history than they are right now, just living like, the community is a mess. We talk about all the time. But so that just shows how much trans people have fallen, that like they can't even claim this like old unspoken of history, which does somewhat exist, of them being, the shamans and spiritual leaders of communities. But this person wouldn't even know about all that. That this person just thinks that actually this person doesn't think. Thank you so much to Black Forest Supplements for sponsoring this episode of the podcast. Check them out in the pinned comment or the description. Follow me on X, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Subscribe to this channel as well as my main channel, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.